Welcome back to Pop Tabs, keeping tabs on all your pop culture news. I'm your host, Matthew Yapp, and joining me today is...
Jeremy Rogers.
And...
Zoey Smith.
I'm so happy you guys are here today. I don't think you guys have ever been on together now.
No.
No, we haven't.
No. Well, then this is probably gonna be a mess, but you know what else is a mess?
Me.
Kim Kardashian. She's kinda angry at the fashion industry because once again, her designs have been stolen. She has went to social media to criticize fashion brands for taking her kind of designer fashion and just replicating it for really cheap. It happened right after Fashion Nova released a dress for about $50 of a dress that she had specially made for her. And so she went online and said that it's devastating to see these fashion companies rip off designs that have taken the blood, sweat, and tears of true designers who put all of their work into their original ideas. So what are your guys' initial thoughts on this?
100% completely valid.
Yeah.
It's a hard work to make things, as you probably well know. So when other people kind of just take all of that effort that you put in and capitalize off of it to, make their own products better, it kind of sucks.
A little bit.
So I totally get that.
Yeah.
I agree to an extent,
Okay.
but I think that fashion is something that kind of just gets repeated and repeated and repeated, so it's not the same in a sense. I mean, I understand you can't copy somebody's work word for word, but at the same time, ripping off fashion's nothing new, and it happens, that's how our fashion evolves and evolves, is because we make it possible.
I say my kind of thing is if we look at this as your creative liberties on things, they did change things. It's a different fabric, it's probably a different stitch work, all these different things. So while it's the same shape and same idea, they changed it enough to where they can sell it for $50, and I guarantee Kim Kardashian's wasn't $50. And so I don't know. In my mind, I feel like it's been altered enough. It's kind of like how you can show clips of people's movies on YouTube so long as you change something or you're adding commentary to it. So they've kind of done that,
Well, that's okay, Jeremy, if somebody had, you're wearing that shirt and it was made specifically for you, and somebody else comes in a red flannel, and then you can be like, oh, you ripped me off. I got this from Tommy Hilfiger. What the heck? And they'll be like, well, mine is Ralph Lauren, So it's different. It happens.
Something tells me that no one's coming in here in a Ralph Lauren red flannel.
Well, we're in a college town, that's unlikely.
I'm not going to turn it down if someone wants to send me one, because I will return and wear it. But I have to kind of disagree. I think that it's not a good scene to be, even though it is a regular practice in the fashion industry, I don't think it's a good practice in the fashion industry to be able to copy other people's work from time to time. I mean, yeah, you can make the argument with literally anything that nothing anyone does is ever original.
No.
Everyone has to borrow on someone else's idea. Someone could, copyright the idea for a shirt if we allowed copyrights for, clothes,
right,
which we don't for some reason. But and then no one else would be able to make a shirt, but that's not what people are saying. We're saying that specific designs, if you made an album artwork and someone else took it and maybe did a little bit of tweaking, you could still make the argument that that's your album artwork, that's your art that someone else has stolen to sell so that they can make a profit. And the fact that it's being done with clothes, I feel doesn't make it super different. Even though it's treated different in the legal system. Yeah.
I say, because that is the thing. I spent a lot of time looking at copyright laws and your intellectual property. And so while there's a lot of intellectual property laws on art and stuff, fashion's almost not covered at all. And so legally, like you said, not really an issue. There's no really ground to stand on.
Yeah.
But that being said, basically, after all this happened, a lot of people criticized Kim Kardashian because more or less what everyone said was that she's been taking things from people for a while. If you look at her perfume bottle, her famous "It's shaped like her body," that was a really popular perfume bottle before her. There's dresses she has that look like a lot of people, and then some people talk about how kind of their entire brand is kind of built on the idea of black culture, and she just makes it into this kind of white marketable thing. And so she's been stealing for a while, supposedly. What do you guys think on that?
Well, It is kind of hypocritical. Like, because you do think about it, and she does, like, she copies off of people for her makeup brand, and she copies off of people for her perfume, like you said. But it's not like she doesn't expect this to happen either.
Right.
Like, she's angry about it now, but a few weeks ago, the same exact thing happened. She posted a picture in like some gold dress that like Kanye designed for her or whatever. And she was like, I never got a chance to wear this. Fast fashion brands don't copy off me. Like, So it's like, she made a joke about it. So it's not like it's something she doesn't expect to happen. And if she's doing the same thing, then why is she being hypocritical about it at the same time? You know what I mean? But
I mean, this is a two-sided thing, a two-edged sword, so that, she can take advantage of the work that other people do while other people are taking advantage of the work that she does. And that is really, unfortunate, because the people who made the things that she is, taking influence from deserve their own, ability to promote and make profit off of what they create.
I think I don't know. I'm not a crazy Kardashian fan, but I'm gonna defend her again. I think to just say, well, like, you can't bring up this issue in the industry because you perpetuated it, I think that's kind of wrong. I feel like it's like a whataboutism where, like, rather than actually pay attention to the issue, we're all just being like, well, no, because of this other thing that you did.
Yeah.
Like,
Hypocrites can never be right. They can never bring up a valid point ever.
Never.
No.
Never.
Not once.
But, so yeah, I don't know. I think the fact that she's bringing up this very valid issue, well, I can see why some people think that she's invalidating herself because she had that, like, she's a part of the problem. I don't know. I think it's still worth saying. That being said, if she, like, now she's bringing it up and she keeps doing it, I'm going to think that's real odd. But, I do understand it at the very least.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like when people say, they take a economic stance and they're like, we need to help developing countries and stuff, and people are like, bro, you tweeted that from an iPhone.
Yeah.
Are you really serious about that? And it's like, well, yeah, you kind of have to participate in the culture you're in, even if you're making critiques of it. So even if Kim Kardashian is, doing the things that people in the fashion industry do and have to do to survive because of how it's, built as a system, that doesn't necessarily mean that she can't be a critic of that, of of the way things are.
Because I'm all for the downfall of capitalism, but, it's really hard to not participate in capitalism.
Yeah. You're screwed economically
Pretty
if you do
much.
not. So, yeah.
But something that I think is interesting was this kind of idea that it's not necessarily, fashion can't really necessarily be stolen. The only thing that can be stolen is a brand. Because obviously if you use the Kardashian brand, that comes up. But you see brands like Supreme, who they charge like $400 for a white sweatshirt that just says Supreme on it. So people can't take that, but they can take a white sweatshirt. Why do you think that is? What's the separation here for you guys?
Well, okay. Fashion is such a broad subject. Once something's in, that's the only thing that's marketable.
Yeah.
And so just because, say, okay, you can copyright a miniskirt, but everybody's going to want to make a miniskirt. So it's like, you can't make everything that you design something like that you can sue people over. You can't be the only one producing this because there's too big of a market for it. Too many people want to buy it. It's too difficult to do that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I agree. I think that if someone wanted to make like a parody of a Supreme sweatshirt, and
Which lots of people have.
like a direct parody, not just like copying off of them and to make your own thing that promotes your own thing, but if you wanted to make something that had an actual element of commentary on the Supreme brand or on fashion in general.
There's really
that's
great.
all.
It's the same logo design, but it just says pretentious instead, which I think's fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah. But yeah, so I agree where I don't think you can quite just take a brand, but when it comes down to it, like we said, they're charging $400 for a white sweatshirt, so there is that certain level, which is why another thing a lot of people said is Kim Kardashian kind of has to expect this because the price she charges for her stuff is insane. So of course people want, the point of fashion is most of the time to sell clothing, so of course people would rather buy a $50 dress as opposed to Kim Kardashian's astronomical prices. So do you think when you charge for something that much that you're kind of asking to be, I don't know, stolen from?
I don't think it's necessarily that you're asking to be stolen from. I think that's more of a calculation that you know that you're going to be.
Yeah.
And so while you're on the, the bleeding edge of this fashion trend, if you're the one who's designing this new piece, you might as well get as much money from it as you can while it's still new, before people can get in and, copy it and undercut you, because, there is going to be someone who can, mobilize their own labor force and undercut you in price, because they're going to use a lower quality fabric. They're not going to pay their workers as much or something. So you got to do what you can to make a profit while you can.
Yeah.
Well, and then you have these things like Kim Kardashian advertises almost every outfit she wears on social media. And so all these girls are sitting there and they're like, wow, I really love that. And so you have these fast fashion brands that are going to see that and they're going to say, oh, we can market off of this outfit. So just because it's $400 here, they have a whole other market that they're opening up to.
Yeah.
And they don't have the brand, but they have the look, so.
No, and that's why I'm kind of okay with it, because what it is, it's the Kim Kardashian's, most of the clothes she's not selling, it's not the clothes, it's the Kardashian brand. When you go to one of their boutiques, it's not that people are like, wow, this is cutting edge fashion that I've never seen anywhere. People go to their boutiques because it's the Kardashian thing. So I don't feel bad, because no one's stealing the Kardashian market. People still want that stupid K on their shirts. People still want to be a part of the Kardashian phenomena. But the people who just like the look of the shirt, they're just going to buy the $50 shirt. I really don't think having this dress somewhere else is hurting their profits too bad, because people still want to be a part of that Kardashian brand.
And the same people that are going to buy the dress beforehand from the big designer are still going to buy it from the big designer, because they're not going to say, oh, I want that Fashion Nova dress instead when it's $50. If you have the money to buy like the Chanel dress, you're not going to buy the Fashion Nova dress.
People want to brag about like, this is Coco Chanel. No one wants to be like, yeah, I got that Target. It looks the same, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do. But
when you don't have the money for Coco Chanel, you do. But
I mean, you also have to consider that Kim Kardashian's probably not going after your typical shopper at the Gap,
right,
when they're trying to promote their own clothes. So it's a totally different market that she's even going after.
The people who are seeing the $50 dress on Fashion Nova wasn't getting pulled into Kim Kardashian anyways. No. I hope there's some like millionaire out there who's like, hell yeah, like Fashion Nova, I'm into it. But something else that is weirdly inexpensive is Tetris 99. What is that about? So Tetris 99 is Nintendo's newest IP. It is a battle royale Tetris game, because, we're at a point in the world.
yeah. I dig it.
Do you?
I dig it. I'm so bad at video games. So like, this works for me. I can play Tetris. You think I can? Okay, I can barely play Fortnite. That's the only thing, like, okay, my boyfriend lets me play Fortnite on his Xbox sometimes.
Right.
So it's like, but I can't play Fortnite. I can't play any game. I can play Tetris. I can pull out my phone right now and play some Tetris.
Right.
So I dig it a lot. That's a market tap right there. They're doing good.
I agree. What do you think?
I am so here for it. I love the game, love the concept, love how we're taking something old, making it new, putting this new twist on it, making it fresh, popular again.
I genuinely think, first off, it's totally Nintendo that when everyone is doing one thing, they sort of do it, but throw like a weird curveball at you. I think, like you said, it's so attainable that it's just fantastic. I think it's a really, really genius move. That being said, it is playing into, like we mentioned, Battle Royale, which for those of you who don't know, Battle Royale is when you take a massive amount of players. Right now the standard's kind of 100, and then it's kind of like elimination style where the game keeps going until one person is left. This was kind of popularized by the video game Fortnite, like Zoey mentioned, and now it's kind of everywhere. We have games like PUBG, Apex Legends is a new one that got over 20 million players in a single week, and now Tetris 99. So what do you guys think is the appeal of Battle Royale? Why is this a new phenomenon?
I think it's popular because everyone has always wanted to play with people. Games are a social thing. And so when you have the opportunity to play against 99 other people, we're living in an age where, 5-10 years ago, that wasn't possible on the video game hardware that was available at the time. So now that that's possible, everyone's jumping in, saying, cool, I want to be the best out of 100. I want to be the top 1%.
Yeah, going off that, everybody just wants to be better than everybody else. So you can like play and play and play. And once you win, you're like, oh my goodness, I am so good at this game. I could be awful at Fortnite. I just happen to be up against 99 terrible people. And then, but I still won.
Yeah.
So, but I love that.
I think that's a big appeal of it, is like, really all it takes is you just can get lucky and you've gotten super high. Something that's happened to me a lot in Fortnite. I'm not good at Fortnite. I can't do FPS. Like, I have no aim. But in Fortnite, I've made like top 10, like a lot, because I just never run into anybody.
I just hide the whole time.
I just don't know how to get around the map, I'll be honest. And so I just keep not running into anyone, and it's great.
I'll be honest, I've never played.
Okay, nerd, but it's fine. But yeah, so you can kind of just, there's this sense of achievement that you get. And also, if you lose, it doesn't really matter. There's not like a ranking system, so you just start a new game. I think it's like kind of this perfect blend of just easy, more or less. It's attainable for anyone.
Yeah.
You can do well in a game without actually having any skill. Obviously, there's some like fantastic players, but for the most part, you can just kind of jump in.
Yeah.
Something that is rather strange, though, is Apex Legends, Tetris 99, and Fortnite, 3 of the biggest players in Battle Royale right now. They're all free. Why do you think that is? Because obviously gaming companies don't like to give you products for free.
I think it's a strategic move on the part of the game developers to get as large of a player base as possible, because when you've got several matches with 100 people in it per match, you need a lot of people who are on at the same time in order to make that happen. So you need as many people playing at the same time as possible. So the best way to get your game into the hands of a lot of people is to just give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's the fact it's still marketable, even though it's free.
Right.
So, I mean, there's Fortnite merchandise everywhere. I don't know anything about Apex Legends, but I'm sure there's merchandise somewhere. I mean, the whole merchandising aspect gets you money.
Right.
And then on top of that, you have people that are willing to pay to get like cool costumes on whatever, and they're like level up whatever, and they're willing to pay for that.
I think, we've seen that Fortnite has made literal millions just off of skins and dance moves and things that don't matter. I think it's really, you just got to get people through the door.
I also think another big part of this is that in order to play online with a lot of these video game systems and services, you have to pay a fee in order to access that online capability. So it's not, strictly free as an experience.
Right.
There are still other costs associated with playing those games, and if you're already paying for those services, that's great. It is functionally free. But if you're someone who doesn't have games already, that's a great jumping in point, because it lowers the barrier of entry and it gets more people to, get on these systems and to get into those ecosystems.
I think, tinfoil hat time for Matt. I think that the reason Tetris 99 came out when it did and it was free is because Nintendo was running into issues where no one was using Nintendo's like subscription service, the Nintendo Online. People weren't using it. And so when you offer Battle Royale, already appealing to people, it's free, already appealing to people, all they need now is to be able to use the online capabilities of the Switch. So you get them to sign up because they want to play Tetris 99. It's cheap, it's $5.99, whatever. I was thinking about it anyways. Now they have Tetris 99, they have that incentive. That is my conspiracy theory. I got you, Nintendo. I see through your facade. So yes, I think you're very correct on that. But also, like you were saying, I think once you get people through the door, once someone's playing Fortnite, sure, they'll spend 99 cents on a skin, or they'll spend something here. I think once you just get people playing the game, they're going to want to buy loot boxes or whatever it is.
Well, people spend so much money on free games. My roommate spent $75 on the Kim Kardashian game.
She sure did.
So,
wow.
that's free, but she still is willing to pay that much money for it. So that's people are willing to pay money for stuff like that they really like. All it takes is getting it through the door.
I say, because if you think about kids are especially for Fortnite, it's a big market, and think you'll get your kid a free game. Sure, you'll let your kid buy Fortnite, and then just over time as they wear it down, you're like, Mom, can I just use $1.99 to get a new skin? Come on. I'm sure a lot of parents thought they got their kids a free game and have spent a lot of money on it since. And so I really do think it's a smart strategy. That being said, do you think it is a decent idea or a maintainable idea for gaming industries to do free games?
Yeah. I think that they're going to be an important... I don't think every game is going to be free. I don't think every game should be free. I don't think that, every studio should pursue that model.
Right.
But I think that there's definitely a solid and enduring place for free games in, the video game environment right now.
Right.
And going on into the future.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Because then you even have parents that are like, oh, like you said, my 12-year-old wants a video game. I don't want to spend $60 on that. So this free thing, they can have that instead. You know what I mean? So especially for children and people, maybe even older people that aren't into video games.
I would not have bought Tetris 99 had it not been free.
Yeah, but my grandma could play Tetris 99. She likes Tetris, why not? So it taps into all different kinds of markets.
Yeah.
Especially with a game like Tetris. I think it's...
Right, on a video game console, not everyone even has to buy a console to play. If you've got one console in your house, you can just make your own profile on it. Yeah. So that opens the door to everyone in the household to say, oh, if there's a game that you want, you can just get it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, hear me out. Pong 99, there's a bunch of Pong balls going around. There's 100 people using the Pong thing. You miss it, you're out. Battle Royale Pong. It's a great idea. Putting it out there, just saying. Also, I think it's a good idea. Also, I think that it's only really maintainable for games like this. I think the Halos, the things like that, it makes sense. Games where you would buy skins like that. Yeah. I can see it being an issue if it is a lot of single player games. I think The Last of Us, that was a huge phenomenon. I don't see a lot of people really buying anything with The Last of Us. You're there for just that story. So any story-driven game, I don't think we can really see it for that. I think there is a very specific type of game that this works for.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know what else is not working though? Roger Stone's entire kind of career right now. He's going through it, gang. So Roger Stone is a conservative campaign consultant and strategist who's been working on with Trump for a while, who recently caught some criticism for a debatedly threatening Instagram post to U.S. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson. So basically, he made an Instagram post criticizing her, saying that she was an Obama-appointed judge. And then there was a shape in the background that is up for debate what that shape meant. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people say that it resembled the crosshairs of a gun. And looking at the image, I can kind of see that. But what are your guys' thoughts on this?
If I'm not mistaken, it was he basically cropped it and it was from somewhere else. Yeah. Now, do I think it looks sketchy if you don't have the background information on that? Oh yeah, definitely. Because if I was sitting there, I'm like, oh, it looks like he's putting a target on her.
Yeah.
Easy. But I will give him this one. I think it was a mistake. He took his bullying to the next level.
Yeah.
On accident.
Firmly disagree.
Good.
All right, this is a guy, context on Roger Stone. He has a tattoo of Richard Nixon's face on his back.
Which is so weird. Yeah. Look it up, it's a weird picture.
He dresses like the Penguin from Batman. Yeah. He has been known as, political activism's scumbag, and he owns that label. He's proud of it. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. Mm-hmm. He has worked for the Nixon campaign. He's worked for Reagan. He has worked for Donald Trump. This guy has been around the block more than a few times. Yeah. And I think it's not a good idea to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I will say I'm dubious because, like you said, he's a dude who has always been I'm going to be, we'll say edgy, but I don't think that quite encapsulates what he is. But he's always been kind of pushing boundaries and being a little bit just tiptoeing over that line where I feel like if this was intentional, it was a step over that line. But I will say, I do kind of think he cropped an image, probably the wrong one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he was actually trying to put a symbol of I'm going to shoot this woman on there. That being said, would I be surprised at all? No, not really. Just because, like you said, he is, he's a bit of a scumbag. So I'm iffy on that, I'll be honest.
One of Stone's first things that he did as a campaign operative, He got a big jar, filled it with loose change, and he actually went to the headquarters of the person who he was campaigning against, or who he was, helping campaign against. And he donated the money to the other candidate and then signed it as from like some young socialist organization. And then they accepted and gave him the receipts from that donation. And so of course he went to a journalist and was like, hey, this guy's getting donations from socialists, he's accepting them. Check this dude out.
I like that.
That's not okay. We should do something about that.
Yeah, I will agree with you. He's definitely a scumbag. The whole post in itself was problematic, but I just think that aspect in itself was probably a mistake.
Because I will say, well, it's a round shape with the lines, and I genuinely, had somebody not said that it was up for debate, rather these were gun crosshairs, I don't think my mind would have went there, honestly. Because the symbol to me does not exactly resemble.
I don't even think I would have noticed it if it wasn't so prominent in the news and everybody in the comments.
So I genuinely could see how he would not do that. Because the main reason I thought he kind of picked it is because it's like a weird picture of her.
Yeah.
And so I could kind of see why. I also kind of agree with something that's come up is the issue with social media and why it's kind of hard to mark things as is it a threat or is it not on social media, is things are so up to interpretation. He says it wasn't meant as a threat. Some people said they took it as a threat. What are your thoughts on social media counting as a threat?
I think that a lot of what goes on has to do with plausible deniability. And I think that because of the ambiguity of social media, a lot of people are able to say things and to say, oh no, you just misread that. Oh, my joke didn't come across in my writing.
Oh yeah.
It was totally just meant to be kidding. Get a sense of humor, dude.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's like on a text. You can totally misread a text and somebody can be like, haha, I hate you. But then you're like, oh, they hate me? Or you can be like, oh, haha, So it comes to the same thing. Now, do I think you should be posting things that could come off as threatening online when you're such a prominent person? I don't know, but it comes down to a fine line there where it is plausible deniability, like you said.
Which honestly, I kind of think is probably why a lot of people use social media to say these things, because you can just really easily be like, ha, I'm kidding. Totally. Or, some people, you might not be kidding, and some people may take it as a joke. I have been challenging Justin Timberlake to a duel at dawn for years now. People think I'm kidding. I want to have a shootout in New Jersey with Justin Timberlake. Maybe that's a joke. Who knows? But, Jeremy, you had something to say?
Oh, no, I was just,
Oh, gotcha. But no, I think that's probably why some politicians pick social media to say certain things, because it's almost like testing the waters. Did they get offended? If so, I'm kidding. But if not, I was totally serious.
Yeah.
I think it's not even to test. I think it's deliberately chosen because they know that the people who they're trying to reach with their message are going to pick up what they're putting down.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone else, all the normies out there, they can just explain it away and be like, oh, you guys are triggered by a hand gesture? It means okay, guys.
Yeah.
It's just an incidental thing. It doesn't mean anything else. Whereas everyone you're actually talking to gets the idea right away.
Yeah.
Even, just recently with Elizabeth Warren and Donald Trump, he made a comment about see you on the trail. A lot of people interpreted that as him making a joke about the Trail of Tears, since Elizabeth Warren has spoken a lot about Native American rights.
Would he do that?
Never.
He did it. But of course, because it was online, people were like, you guys are reading way too far into that. That's not at all what he meant. So I think it's like you said, that he gets to make his point, and we can't say he made his point. You can't hold someone accountable. Something that I think is also interesting is the fact that we've seen in the past 2 years a lot of increase in politicians and prominent social figures using social media to reach out to people. Not all bad, like Donald Trump. Not that I'm not saying he's bad, but could be said. But we also see people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She does Instagram lives once a week where she talks about politics and the state of the nation while making dinner. And so what are your thoughts on kind of prominent political figures using social media to be more attainable?
back in 2011 and 2012, there was this pop science article going around that was making its way throughout all the news, and it was like, does social media make people lonely? And everyone was framing it like, the question was, of course it makes people lonely. You just get online, you do your thing, and then you don't talk to anybody. But the studies said universally, it depends on how you use it. If you use social media to connect with other people and to, make those pro-social actions, then no, it's not going to make you lonely. But if you use it as an excuse to not make those connections with people, if you use it to keep people at a distance,
like
yes.
me.
Yes.
Ain't that relatable?
Yeah.
No.
And so the whole thing is with politicians, it can be used for great stuff, but it just depends on how you are using it. Are you using it to spread your crypto-fascist ideology and message, or are you using it to widen the democratic, conversation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it can be great to an extent. I mean, if it wasn't for social media now, half the candidates wouldn't be able to spread their platform the way that they do, and platforms spread like wildfire on social media. Now, whether it's positive or negative that people feel like they may feel some backlash from it, their policies spreading what they think, but I think it's one of the best ways to campaign nowadays, and I think it's a really great way to just show who you are and who you are as a politician.
Yeah.
But
I think it's a really good way to just kind of connect to common people and maybe make things a little more attainable, because a lot of people, they don't want to watch the State of the Union, but I think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I think she's a great example. I watched an Instagram live where she was making pasta, and she was just talking about different policies and things, and she mentioned the Electoral College, and someone commented, they were like, I actually have never understood what the Electoral College was. And she's like, oh, okay, and then she just explained it. And it's a really easy way, because when you're doing these very formal, speeches and things like that, it's not as attainable to some people. They can't really interact as well, where on Instagram, literally anyone can jump in and watch, anyone can ask a question, and you can just very normally oh yeah, this is how the Electoral College works. And so I think it's a very smart use of social media.
Right, we're not in some technological paradise where we can pretend that everybody has equal access to the internet.
Right.
Even there's still a large problem with internet access in rural communities in the U.S. right now, but it's still leaps and bounds better, and to hold some sort of meeting on social media over the internet than to force people to drive, make that economic and time commitment, and in some cases, for really popular politicians, like you saw with Bernie Sanders in the 2015-2016 primary season, with President Obama, President Trump, these guys sell out arenas. Yeah. Not to say anything about any other politicians, I'm sure they do as well, but physical venues only have so much space.
And honestly, you have to pay for a lot of those meetings, so people can't afford that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then you have the fact, you have younger voters now, and so it was an issue, a few years ago, no young people were voting. And this is a way that you can connect with younger voters, because this is what they're going to be checking. That's where I get half of my political, information is social media. And I know that's a bad thing, but at the same time, that's how I connect, and that's how I see who's running and who's doing what. So I think it can really be utilized to do a good thing there.
Yeah, I mean, especially in Indiana. I think it was in the 2014 elections that the youngest demographic in Indiana, I forget the exact age range, but it was 18 to 34 or something like that. That age range in Indiana had the lowest voter turnout of any age range in any state in the United States.
Sick, Indiana.
Woot woot, I voted.
I did too.
So this is a fantastic way to, like you were saying, kind of encourage the younger people to get politically engaged and to actually make their voices heard, to pay attention, get informed, and to, do what the rest of the country is doing and vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that being said, what are your guys' final thoughts on this and anything else we talked about today?
No one can copyright Battle Royale, so just like no one can copyright a shirt, I don't want people to rip off Tetris 99 with their own Russian falling blocks 98.
Ooh. That was a good one.
Thank you.
I don't know. I don't know anything about video games, so I have no final thoughts on that. But Roger Stone is insane. And Kim Kardashian needs to calm down a little bit and let Fashion Nova knock some stuff off. Like,
Kim, there are people with wars in their country. Tetris 99, it saved the gaming industry completely. And go vote. That being said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being on, and we'll see you next time. Cut. It's over. Done.
Also, you gotta give her credit. She did do some good work on prison reform.
You don't say cut, I do.
I said cut, Phil. What the f*** you gonna do?
I'm gonna cut you out of the show.
Please.
ooh,
Please.
that'd be so funny.